Let us open an umbrella. Well, what do you see? Is it shielding us from the blue sky above? Or is it protecting the ones below? Perhaps both. Sisman Conclave is an umbrella that looks into one of the most potent idea of our times, the United Nations. Today, United Nations is a young organization at 70, born out of the embers of World War and the lived experience of the League of Nations. The idea of Sisman is not a new idea, but the idea of Sisman Conclave, the way we do it, is a new idea. It is a three-pronged approach to Manning. One, to understand the functioning of United Nations as an organization a little more carefully. To look at regional groupings, caucus, bloc, and their influence in this widening idea of geopolitics. The third idea is essentially to look at the different United Nations conventions a little more carefully. For example, how do you look at a Geneva Convention? How do you look at UNCLOS that governs sea and nations? So, Sisman Conclave is a three-pronged approach, essentially designed to understand the workings of UN and geopolitics. The MAN experience is unique because the Sisman experience is not to be the prisoner of a format, to be a slavish interpreter of rules of procedure. Rules of procedure is basically to evolve deeper understanding, not just mere imitation. Sisman is not about pinstripe suits and sharp dressing sense. It is to look at the local inside the large and the global. The local in the global context. Whether you look at female genital mutilation, human trafficking, Chernobyl, COP21, Millennium Development Goals, the former heroes of United Nations, Youth Hunt, Kurt Waldheim, Sisman wants to simulate how UN works in the field, in the slum, in a favela, in a mohalla, in a highway, in a classroom, in a Ebola detection camp, and not some fuzzy idea of points of personal privilege or a point of order. We have an overarching procedure. Of course we do. But the idea is we have to understand that UN is a collection of vast number of bodies. And we need to understand that each one of them have a unique voice. So UNEP in Nairobi is very, very different from UNESCO in Paris. And they cannot be governed by one sweeping procedure. We've had a range of students taking part from all over the country. In fact, they discuss, they learn, they network, they break into caucuses, they make groups, they come back, they try to understand what legislation means, they make working papers, they make working resolutions, they recommend, they debate. Sisman has had some very, very unique committees. We've debated Balfour Declaration, we've debated OPEC, we've debated African Union, we've debated United Nations High Commission for Refugees, we have debated General Assembly, we have debated about a permanent seat for India in the United Nations Security Council, we have debated about victims of human trafficking, we've debated about art and antiquities being stolen every day across conflict zones, we've debated about Tibet, about Sri Lanka, South Sudan, Somalia, Rwanda, East Timor, Palestine, diverse dots in this large map called the world. Sisman is an experience, and an important part of the experience is the Sysman Roundtable. We call people from different walks of life, eminent people, to talk to students in a seminar roundtable format. Everybody puts up their views. They take questions from the audience. In fact, this is one of the highlights of Sysman, and probably the only MAN conclave in the country that has been consistently delivering a very important, curated roundtable to students every year. So whether you are a student from Padma Sheshadri Bala Bhavan in Chennai or the Galaxy Education System Rajkot, whether you're a student of Mumbai or a student of Imphal, Sysman is this large umbrella under which you stand, you talk, and then you realize that Sysman Conclave is essentially designed to make you understand stories of hope embedded inside the stories of despair. As the celebrated German playwright Heiner Müller puts it, we are hope dealers, not dope dealers. It's the hope and the need that guides Sysman, and not the dope and the greed.